All right, let's carry on tonight. Victoria, let us know what is the topic for tonight.
Okay, the topic is, what should somebody be willing to leave behind when you walk away from an unhealthy relationship or marriage?
What should they be willing to leave behind?
Yes.
That's the question. Juan, are you there tonight? Good evening. Let's go. What should somebody who has been in an unhealthy relationship or marriage, what do you think they should be willing to leave behind as they walk away from the relationship to pick back their assignment, their destiny, and their real destination? What should they be willing to leave behind? That's the question. If you are walking away from an unhealthy relationship or an unhealthy marriage, what should you be willing to leave behind? When you leave it behind, you know you are done. Because there are some people who will tell you they are done, they are leaving certain things behind, and yet later they go back to the same vomit that they have left. So that's what we are dealing with tonight. Please, everyone, there are a lot of people on the conference line. I look it up before I myself came into the conference, that there is a lot of people in it tonight. So please be willing to share with us if you are walking away from an unhealthy relationship or marriage. What should you be willing to leave behind? Yep. Anybody jump in? Let's begin to contribute. This is an open forum. Tonight is an open forum, so anybody can jump in. Please, let's jump in. Let's jump in. What will you be willing to leave behind? Let me make sure the light is not reflecting much here. What are you willing to leave behind that you will not go back to if you are walking away from an unhealthy relationship or marriage? What are you willing to leave behind? Victoria, let's go with you.
Okay. I'd say you have to be willing to leave behind the way you think.
The way you think. Why?
The way.
Why? Why is it the way you think? Go ahead. You are already on the way. Go ahead.
Because the way you think got you in a big old mess already. So.
Mary, did you hear that? Geneva, did you hear that?
Yes.
He says, the way you think got you in a big old mess. In a big old mess already. And number one, let's correct something there. Please, somebody should help Victoria because she's on the right track. Why did the person think that way? Why did the person think the way they've been thinking that got them into a hot mess already? A super hot mess. A big old mess already. Who made that person to think that way? For example, if somebody has been in a relationship or a marriage for a very long time, it is very easy for that person because they do not know that trash is not treasure and that treasure is not trash. So they will think that the person they are with is treasure and that they themselves are trash. For example, if a man tells you that if you leave him, there will be nobody who will be willing to marry you because you are now crappy, you are now a piece of scrap, you are worth nothing. He has already used the best part of you. You are completely wawa, what we call wawa in our language. That is completely nonsense. There is nobody who will look at you, look at your hair. Your hair has all fallen all over the place. You are now wearing a wig and looking like a dirty old witch. Look at you. When you came, you were young and you were very beautiful. You were electricity. And now you are darkness. The person will keep saying things to you day in, day out. And the thing begin to take root. Before you know it, you begin to experiment and you begin to think that what the person is saying is true. And you begin to convince yourself. The person will tell you, look at you. Since you were born, you finished high school, you can't even get a degree. You tried this, you failed, you are a pure failure. If you don't stay with him, nobody gonna need a failure. Next thing they will tell you, look at you. You have 8 children. How do you think anybody's gonna marry you with all these crazy children all around you? Victoria, are you getting it?
Yep.
Malia, press mute. Thank you.
Yes. What, this one?
Malia, press mute.
Yes.
Hello, Sophia. All right. So the person will keep saying things and say, look at you, look at you, look at your age. You've not achieved anything. So you think by going out of the marriage or leaving him, you better stay here and get your butt being beaten every day. That is better than you going out there to go and seek for a greener pasture. In fact, the person even discouraged you. Think all these men, see, all these men, he will tell you that all these other men, they are worse than him. That if he broke one jaw, they are going to finish up the other one. If he hits you and you become deaf on one ear, the man is going to even make you blind. Going to put fear on you. Victoria, I don't know whether that is what you mean by a big old mess. You begin to think that way and you settle for what you should not settle. And the worst is for you to go to church and you hear the pastors telling you, even if they take your head and hit on the wall, you should remain. That is what we call marriage. That marriage is a bullfight. Sometimes it's not always nice. Sometimes people do fight and they get reconciled and so on. Are you serious? And you begin to believe that big old mess. There is a special lady by the name M. You know who you are. You came to the consultation in Washington, D.C. I salute you. Thank you, my wonderful lady. Yeah, you are my great idol. You are a great woman. All right, let's go on. So, Victoria, continue. We are listening to you.
Well, let's see.
You said the person should be willing to change the way they think. That the way they think has put that person in a big old mess. Has it anything also to do with when some women think that they can change a man? That maybe if they married a man, they will change him. They will be able to mold and make the man in their image and likeness. If the man was a penny pincher, they believe that they can fast and pray. They can call Idika Imeri to fast and pray and put Holy Ghost juju on the man so that the man will now begin to release his money. If a man is not giving you money before he marries you, how do you think he's going to give you money after money after marrying you? Are you serious? Victoria, continue. You owe me $200 for answering for putting some toppings on your pizza.
Okay. Well, let's see. What somebody should be willing to leave behind is the way you think about what you really want in a man.
All right.
What you need in a relationship.
There you go.
Like once someone's hit you before, I mean, if you ever, you have to know that if you're in a new relationship, that guy can never even like scare you at all. If you can't have someone who's like scared you at all, you have to have somebody who's really nice to you.
Good. If you are scared of the man or the woman, then you know something is wrong with that relationship.
Yeah.
If you are scared of the person, you should know that. So, you are actually saying that when a person is living an unhealthy relationship or an unhealthy marriage, the person should leave fear behind, should leave an old way of thinking and embrace a thinking lifestyle that will make life better and easier for that person. Let's go. Geneva, help us here tonight. You are an expert in this field.
I have one more thing. But you have to be careful because you may think, because you meet someone else and they don't beat you, or they don't cuss at you, or they don't scare you, but still you can get tricked into thinking that relationship's all good because that person is way better than the person you were with before. Mm-hmm. So that's just one thing I know from experience. Also, I could say you could think you're picking someone you're thinking you're making a wise choice because this person doesn't hit you, yell at you, or all those other things. But you have to learn that person may not be the right person just because he doesn't do all those other things.
There you go.
You may be thinking you're making a great choice, mm-hmm. but it still could be a wrong choice.
Bam.
You decided not to ever be with someone who would beat you, but at the same time, you got to look at all the other things like financial and other things.
Oh, you become smart.
Yeah.
See, this is why going to Idika Imeri University, marriage university, is very important. She is almost graduating. See the way she's talking? 2 years ago, she was not talking like this. She thought that trash was treasure. Now she knows that diamond is diamond, gold is gold, and trash is trash. It doesn't mean that because a man doesn't beat you physically, does not abuse you, he doesn't quarrel with you, but he may be somebody who keep mute with you. He doesn't want to quarrel with you. He doesn't want to put his hand on you, but he keep quiet. You ask him for something, he doesn't respond to you. If you try to do something, you buy him something, he go and put it in the trash. Somebody who doesn't want to eat the food you and your children cook. And you may not know that behind the scene, he's talking to everybody against you. You're right, Victoria. It does not mean that because he doesn't abuse you, he doesn't quarrel with you, does not mean that he's not cheating on you outside there. Does not mean that he is gossiping you out there. Does not mean that he's not competing with you. Does not mean that it doesn't mean that he's nice to you, because he might not be sharing his money with you anyway. And he's giving his money to his mother, father, brothers, sisters, and people out there, but not you. Not your children. And since your kids were born, it's you who bought them clothing, bought them shoes, bought them everything. You yourself, nobody has bought anything for you since you can remember. He has not. And those kind of men pride themselves of being nice Christian men or nice religious men. They really feel good that they are nice people. Because they are not beating you, they are not quarreling with you, but they are not giving you. In fact, you are in limbo. You are sitting in limbo. And pretty soon it will cut up with you that you need to leave those kind of people behind. Which means that it's not just enough to be married or to be related to somebody who is religious. You are going to look for more things, because this is one of the biggest mistakes people make. When I ask them to send me a list of the kind of man or the kind of woman they want, they start by saying, I want somebody who is a Christian. And yet the best stories in the Bible is not about Christians. It's about normal people. Esther wasn't married to a Christian. Joseph was not married to a Christian. I'm not sure that Rebecca and the father, Rebecca, I'm not sure that Rachel and Leah, I'm not sure they were Christians, because their fathers were worshiping other gods. Joseph was like a god to Pharaoh. You need to read the Bible carefully. You need the entire package. You don't just find one thing and think that is it. But let's get back to this question. What is it that somebody should leave behind when you leave a marriage or an unhealthy marriage, unhealthy relationship? Let's go. Victoria has given us a big advancement. The way you think over the years that makes you to become stagnant and sit in limbo. You should be willing to let go of it. You should be able to convince yourself that you are a better person and you deserve better people around you. Geneva, let's go. You are good in this kind of thing.
I would say you need a different mindset, and in order to do that, you need to change your location, and that you also need to change the people that you both are associated with, because they may be telling that person or people around you what emotional state that you're in, and that man or that woman knows how to get back to you and to get back into your life with certain words or temporary gifts or things that you know that touch you, that may weaken you and put you back into that state and back into that situation that you are in.
There you go. Self-explanatory. Thank you very much. Next person. That is self-explanatory. Geneva, add some more meat to the soup. Add some more chicken or some more beef. Add some more fish to this soup that you've cooked. Make it better.
Well, you may have to struggle, but it's better to be alone and get yourself together and not, be around, because you can still say, let's just say you're in the same house. You don't want to do that, thinking that you can get yourself together because you're still looking at the situation. Or you may go to family's house, and it may not be a family situation where you can grow and change and get away from that environment. You're actually still stuck in that environment. So you're going to need to find a way to just totally get away. Even if it's not the best situation, but it's a decent situation that you can live temporarily until you can get on your own feet.
There you go. There you go. She's talked about leave the location. Especially if the person is physically abusive, life-threatening you or your children or your family members, you need to leave. David actually had to take his father, mother, brothers, and sisters and flee Israel and went and relocated them. It's not enough to say that God is watching over us. God is watching over me. God has given you enough sense for you to know that sometimes changing location is a very important thing. There's something I want you to know. You must reach a place in your life where you are in your proper location, where if there is anything that you need to fast and pray for, it is to fast and pray for God to locate you in your place of professionalism, in your place of money, in your place of wealth, where nobody can challenge you. Because many a times, the relationship we enter into is actually wicked people, monitoring spirit, witchcraft, high-class sorcery, and the occult, attracting the wrong person into your life in order to continue something that has been brewed against you, and you may not know it. So Geneva, thank you very, very much. See, that's why I have you there. That's why I'm nice to you. Have I not been nice to you, girl?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I'm nice to you and to your kids. That's why I really love you. You know it. You know it. See, because you have a lot of brain power down there. Down inside you, you have a lot of gut and brain. What you've survived, there are a lot of people who cannot. So that's why I'm very grateful. And Victoria, I'm very grateful that you are willing to be the Victoria of today, and Geneva to be the Geneva that moved back into life in spite of it all. Let's go. Somebody else. There's somebody?
Yes, please. I would say the feeling of regret.
Regret.
Yeah. The children of Israel complained. They regretted leaving Egypt and then going to the wilderness, and they complained, and God wasn't happy with them. So I would say that use your experience to be a tool for.
Do you guys hear that? That's the prophetess speaking. That's one of them. That's one of the prophetess speaking. Geneva, are you gonna be joining the prophetess club?
Okay.
All right. That's one of them speaking. Please repeat what you just said, Mary. This is too good. This is too good to be passed by.
I said the feeling of regret.
The feeling of regret. Let me add a little bit of butter to the bread for you. You ready?
Yes.
Shame and guilt. Regret, shame, and guilt. Those three are very, very important for you to leave behind.
Yeah, and hurt.
And hurt. See, there are four things there. Regret, shame, guilt, and hurt. You should be willing and ready to leave them behind. Continue, baby girl. Huh?
It come out of denial.
And she also said denial. Denial. Explain that denial for us, please.
You see it's happening, you know it's happening, you feel it happening.
And yet
very and wishing that it wasn't happening, or in your own world that it's going to stop happening. You just need to look at the facts and face it. It is happening. Come out of denial.
There you go. See? So there are actually 6. Denial is one of them. Shame, guilt, hurt, regret. What is that? Denial.
Denial.
So people who live in denial more than often will go back to the person who has bruised them, hurt them. People who live in denial. People who live in guilt and shame and regret. There are some people it takes a lot to make them see what is happening to them. There are people you'll be telling, do you really know what is happening to you? And they cannot. Denial. And sometimes denial is not just a weakness, it is also a spirit. The other person has given them a high dosage of witchcraft, a high dosage of lies and manipulation, very strong ones. They've eaten and they've drunk it big time. And they believe everything that person tells them. If that person cannot get through to them, they will use other people to get through to them. And by the time you know it, they get back together. And such people, you try to intervene in their lives and you become the enemy. Because tomorrow they are going to make up with the person who is trying to destroy them. And you become the enemy. Because of what Geneva has just said, denial, and because of what Mary has just said, guilt, shame, regret, etc. Mary, continue.
Yes. Take the experience as a tool and then move forward. Let go of the past and then make room for your best life to unfold.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you live beyond your widest imagination.
Uh-huh.
Let them come out. It's an experience for you to move your life to a higher level.
Okay.
That way. And then I want to add this also, like if you are an emotional person and you like crying a lot, please put crying behind you, because that crying is going to make you step back.
Okay.
And then get into the relationship slowly again. And then another thing that pops into my mind right now is getting away from friends that will initiate you into your past.
Okay.
Making you to go back into your past, telling you didn't take right decision, and all those people, you have to get away from them, avoid them.
And then friends who will use the Bible to tell you that what is happening to you is how marriage should be.
Yep.
That the man is not providing for you, that sometimes that did you not remember your marriage vow, for better, for worse,
Mm-hmm.
for sickness and for health, till death do us part.
Mm-hmm.
My dear, death do not do us part. Are you serious? Where in the Bible did you see that thing? God said, be blessed, be fruitful, multiply, have dominion, rule, be a leader, subdue, replenish. That's what God said. Where then did they go and say it for better and for worse? I mean, I know what they mean by all these things, but I will never use it for a marriage couple. I will not do that. It's almost like a curse. It's almost like predicting what will happen. That's why some of our women will tell you for better to stay, for worse to go. Which, I don't blame them. It means that if you are the one coming for the marriage, if you are the man, you better step up and be a man. You better be a provider, be a responsible person. Be bound by duty. And not come to tell people stories. When it is time for you to do what you should do, to be a father, you cannot. And you start to tell stories. And then If something happened and you, the woman, you walk away from the relationship, you start to think that, well, what is it? Sometimes a man may be broke. I don't believe that. It's not for better and for worse. It is for better and for best. For healing and for health. And life continue. There's nothing like death do us part, because death doesn't even exist in our dictionary. In the Christian dictionaries, it should not be there. Because God is God of the living, is not God of the dead. Doesn't mean that people do not leave the earth. But you should leave the earth when you have fulfilled your assignment. Mary, continue. I'm loving this. Continue. Where is Mary?
Yes, yes, I'm here. I have a little monk on my background. I have been moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I will also add to it that, especially those of us who are in this ministry, we help ourselves. I mean, we are friends with each other, and then you are our shepherd. You are there for us. And therefore, if you are having any problem, you have to be closer to the one you trust that can help you to stand and to go through. I'm talking about physically. To go through your problem, to give you encouragement, to give you words to build you up, quicken your faith, so that you can be strong in going through whatever you are going through. And this thing will be very, very challenging. I mean, it will be very difficult. It will not be like bread and butter. It will not be like cheese or pizza. It will be it's a real life that you are going to face. So be ready for it.
Okay.
And face it with boldness.
Okay.
So this is all that I will say. This is what I will do, actually.
Okay. Thank you. Also, like Geneva was saying, be willing to leave behind, I think you mentioned it too, be willing to leave behind people who gave you the advice to enter into an abusive relationship. Be willing to walk away from such people. Those who gave you the advice to enter into it, told you, oh, that person is great, oh, that person is good, oh, that is, be willing to get away from such people. People who have failed you in your past should not be allowed back in your present and in your future. If your parent are not good at giving advice in certain areas, avoid going to them to ask for advice concerning that area. Is there somebody else who has something else to add tonight? Anybody? Before we stop?
I just want to add one more thing.
Okay.
I know this is from my mom's experience. Once she left a marriage that was unhealthy, she didn't leave behind the negative talk that she gave to herself.
Ah, got it.
She called herself stupid. She would call herself dumb for years. I mean, she would look in the mirror and say, "Ooh, ugly," you know?
Yeah.
And just stuff like that. You have to leave all that. You know, once she stopped doing it, she continued it for the rest of the years. They were married 25 years. Did it for another 25 years.
Okay. So wow, that is awesome. That's powerful. You have to leave negative talk behind. You have to leave negative talk behind. Do you know that you can be in a relationship or in a marriage that will turn you almost to a mad woman? or to a madman. And you will be seeing the world from the aspect of quarrel and fight. Every human being you see becomes an enemy. When people say something, you define it from the aspect of flee or fight. And that's not fair. And that begins to affect even your job, your professional life. You begin to see your co-staff as enemies. Why? Because you're unhappy. Now, there are other things that I'm going to add here that you should leave behind. If you are going to leave an unhealthy relationship or marriage, please leave behind your fear, leave behind your prejudices, your premonitions, your presumptions, your suppositions. Leave behind a feeling of unworthiness, that you don't have any value. Leave the old you behind. Leave the old you. Leave the ghost of the old you. Leave it behind to go and deal with that, with the idiot that has caused you so much trouble. Leave the ghost of the old you. And let me also say this. Before you leave an unhealthy relationship or marriage, leave behind every witchcraft and every power of darkness they put on you. Leave it behind. Do not leave it behind to do good to the person. Tell that thing to go and do exactly to the person what they send it to do to you. Don't be merciful when it comes to that kind of thing. Because you are not taking demons and dirty spirit and foul spirit from one relationship and marriage and carrying it to go and start a life all over. Don't do that. So those are some of the things that you need to begin to think about. Leave behind some emotional trauma that you've accumulated. Be willing to leave them behind. Every negative word that was spoken, you were not accepted. Leave the rejection behind. You were rejected. You were dumped. Leave those things behind. And that is why I normally say to especially women, before a man dump you, dump them. Dump his butt. Dump him quick. Because some of them think that they are very smart. And they come to you for marriage because they think that they can control you. You are going to be a dog. You won't say nothing. As long as you get food, you get a place to sleep. That's good enough. Be willing to leave that kind of thinking behind and those kind of people behind who think that all you need is food and a shelter to put your head and an old rickety car. So I want you to be aware of this, that you have to leave those things behind. And let me also say this. Some people will bring into you a spirit of competition. You marry somebody, you think that you marry somebody who's going to work with you, and you didn't know that you marry somebody who is coming to compete with you. And they introduce into your life, the spirit of fight, the spirit of competition, the spirit of fear. And because the person himself did not succeed in life, he has made you to think that you will never succeed in anything you do. And you carry that throughout your lifetime. You have to leave it behind before you leave. And let me also tell you what you have to leave behind. Every curse, hear me out tonight. Every curse that person, his mother, his father, his brothers, his sisters, his friends, his associates, whatever curse they place on you, make sure that you give it back to them before you leave. And do not say it in private. Say it before him or her or before them. Because you know that when you leave, in fact, let me tell you, that is the last straw that did not just break the camel's back, that killed the camel. Have you ever seen anybody putting a curse on somebody and he put it in secret? It's when they are angry that they release a curse on your life. Get angry and dump back all the curses, all the poverty they put on you, put it on them. Every bad shoe they bought for you, every $3 perfume they bought for you that you never use, leave it, throw it at them. They have clothes at Dealer, at Macy, at Burlington, at Ross, and they went all the way to Salvation Army and to Goodwill and DAV to go and get you some okrika for you to wear and look like you're an old Amish woman, mother hen, looking like mother hen with those white ribbon they tie on their head. Even the Catholic sisters do not wear those stupid things anymore. Make them look funny. Make them look like creatures from some aliens. God have mercy. And they go and buy those long skates with stupid boots and dress you like somebody going to Mars to go and scout whether you find some life living in Mars, and you dress up like in space suits, looking like a crazy old woman, old witch. And the man is happy to get you all covered so that other men will not see your face and see your beauty. Doesn't want to send you to college, not to professional training, so that you don't become smart and earn more money than him. And because he now earns 20,000 a year and you earn 1 million a year, he now feels like he has been castrated. Leave those things for them there. Go and look at the bed that you used to sleep. Some women will want to carry some old shitty beds with them and mattress. Leave those things there. You're carrying some old television that he bought from Goodwill that they were using in Mother Mary's nursing home. Mother Mary nursing home. You know those old television that it takes like about 10 people to carry one little television. By the time they put it in their car, some of them are already suffering from hernia or from blue balls. And that's what you want to carry. Leave those things there. Dump those things there. They have some flat screen TV at Walmart. Going down to, he come back from his job. Hey, darling, I bought you some new shoes. Shoes that other people have been wearing. I need some new shoes. I want to be the first person to wear those shoes. And to wear those clothes. Come on, give me a break. Let me hear you running towards me, darling. I purchased some new shoes, and I come and look at it. It is what Tom Sawyer used to wear in Mississippi. I will slap the hell out of you. Renee, my sweetheart, please forgive me. I do not want to make a caricature of Mississippi. I'm just being bold, my dear lady. That's why I always like Renee. She has new things, beautiful things. People don't know why I love this girl. Looks good all the time. Sweet and beautiful.
Can I add something?
Yes, my dear, please do. Just calm me down. Yeah, go ahead, my dear.
Regarding the topic tonight and last night, I must admit that I'm a poster child for. I have been a poster child for it.
and I actually walked away. And I heard a lot of intangible things that you walk away from, okay? And this is just me and my situation and from my personal experience. Don't be afraid to leave everything tangible behind.
There you go. Don't be afraid to leave everything tangible. And let me tell you, there are certain things that you should leave behind. I have told you guys the story when I moved from the west side to west central here in Wichita. I left everything behind. Ask Geneva, she will tell you guys. I left everything behind. I slept on the floor. Geneva, for how long? Was it 1 month or 2? I slept on the floor. I put blanket on the floor and slept and took my clothes and make my pillow. I slept there. Say, God, you said that I should leave everything behind. Because even God himself hate to see you raggedy, see you having some things that Adam and Eve themselves will not want to use. We think that God is just interested in our spiritual life and us going to heaven. I say it very plainly because I come from a poor home. And even if I come from a rich home, I will still say the same thing. If receiving Jesus was all about going to heaven, then I don't want anything to have with such heaven or with such Jesus. Because the Jesus I know, he asked me to call him the King. He is my King. You don't be a king, a fufu king, goofy king, empty king, zero king. Kings are wealthy people. And there is nobody who has ever been, will ever be, that is as wealthy as the King, Jesus. None. And you want to talk me not to be wealthy? Because you have a stupid, crazy doctrine in your church? I didn't write such. And you go and look at those who are the heads of those churches, they are very wealthy people. Even go and look at the Roman Catholics. They tell their pastors to swear that they are going to be celibate. They will never have no sex. They will not have money. They will be broke. They swear poverty, broke. And they are going to be very holy. And all that is a lie. Because I've been among them. They sex more than anybody I've ever seen. They live in nice houses, drive good cars. They have money. You are not fooling me. And all those things. Huh?
I'm sorry. I wanted to add one other thing.
Go ahead, my dear.
Yeah, because I've experienced that for myself. If you don't mind, I just want to speak to the woman who might be listening, who might be afraid for her life.
Yes, go ahead, my dear. Go ahead, my dear. People of God, listen. Raina is one of the prophetess in our ministry. Go ahead, my dear.
This is a situation I had to walk away from, and I'm not ashamed of saying this because this is part of my story and it's part of what God delivered me from. But I had to walk away with the idea in my head that I could have faced prison from what that person was challenging me to. Okay, the police were called. Okay, it was because of a simple statement of something that I said. Okay, but when I looked up, the police were at my home. Okay, I found out that there were hidden cameras in my house recording me every day. Oh my God. And so I walked away from a situation where that particular night, I got my child, I got my purse, I grabbed my Bible, I grabbed the keys to my car that had my name on it, and we rolled down that street rejoicing.
There you go.
It was a terrible situation.
Yeah.
God gave us joy.
There is.
And one thing that I'll never forget is that we didn't look back.
There you go.
There's a situation in the Bible where a woman looked back and she turned into salt.
There you go.
Locked into her path.
Listen.
That God has you. He has your life.
There you go.
He will take care of you regardless.
There you go.
He feeds the birds. And I haven't starved. I may have been without food, but I have not starved a day. And everything that I walked away from that night, when I went to court, the culprit who accused me did not even show up, because I found out God had a plan in the background where he ran into somebody who knew me. They were aware of my character, and they told him he'd be crazy to take Renee to court because no one would believe his story. So that day, when I appeared before the judge, I was scared. Because, again, I could have gone to prison for what that man was accusing me of.
And he wasn't there in the court.
No, he didn't even show up.
There you go.
And the judge gave me favor that day. She gave me everything that I lost.
Whoa.
He was trying to take away from me.
There you go.
So God, to the woman out there who's scared to walk away, fear not. Because if you serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he's got a backup plan waiting on you. He will take care of you. You will not stumble. You will not fall. You will make it.
Oh,
but
yes.
choose to live and not die.
There you go. There you go. That is powerful. You see why? You see why you are very close to me now? You see that? People of God, are you hearing? Because many of you are afraid to start all over. And you don't know that your destiny has been held hostage and that you need to regain your destiny. Your assignment has almost been destroyed through marriage, and you need to get a hold of your assignment. That's what she's telling us. That's like the message tonight. Don't be afraid to walk away, and walk away into your real destiny and see what God is going to do for you. I am a witness of a woman somewhere in Europe that what has happened to Renee has happened to her. And when she walked away, she got more things than the raggedy that she was living in, called marriage. I want when people enter into marriage, it's going to be sweet. You're going to get everything. Life will be a beautiful thing. That's what it is. Is there somebody? This is a very touching story. This story should not be taken lightly. What Renee has said should not be taken lightly. I know of many women who walked away. And when they walked away, God decided to walk with them. Until you're willing many a time to walk away, God will not be willing to walk in and walk with you. There are many of you that I decided I'm going to journey with you and your children. I'm going to journey with you and your marriage or your single life, or you're being a single mom or a single dad. It's because I don't want to see you suffer. I don't want to see you cry. I want to give you direction that will never fail you. My job here is to create happiness for you and to lift you up. Others can preach the greatest sermon to you, but that's not my job. My job is to give you the biggest money. My job is to give you tangible things that will help you in life. My job is to create opportunity for you to go to college and to obtain professional training. My job is to fly into your city and help find you a job. Why? Because I've been there. when everybody left me, when everybody walked away from me, when people rejected, abandoned me, when the church humiliated, disrespected me, said all manners of things about my giftedness that I'm using today. I was at a place where I have no father. I have a poor mother for my only parent. Nothing. And my mother, from being a big businesswoman, became a petty trader, running just one shop instead of many that she had, simply because she had no husband, saddled with 8 children. I've been there. I've been there. I've been where I thought that it would be better that I leave this earth instead of going through what I was going through. And immediately God came through. I have seen the power of God. That's why I'm still alive. I have seen God showed up when everybody else did not show up, and things changed very quickly. I was waiting for others to show up and to take me on a journey because they knew more than myself. Little did I know in my innocency that there are so many people around you who say they love you, but they want to see you die. They would rather come to your funeral instead of your graduation. They would rather come to celebrate your greatness and your fame instead of your death. There are people who they have what it takes to make you rich, but they will not do it. Because they would rather see you broke and begging and sick than any other thing, than see you happy. I've seen it all. That's why when I see wicked rulers on the throne, I can't wait for God to remove them one way or the other. Because in my little life, I've suffered, I've seen a lot. I've seen how human beings could be so cruel and so terrible. And that is why I am in ministry. I'm not in ministry because I read the Bible. I'm in ministry because I use ministry experience. I use the story of the Bible to give you direction. Because I've been there. And I know how it feels. And when all seems lost, God comes through. Don't you know that God is smart to have sent the Holy Ghost to be our God, the God that we see and we can touch and we can relate with, so that we are not left on the earth with ourselves. If God was to leave us just with ourselves, humans and devils will have destroyed us. I know for a fact that if you are willing to walk away from your past, God will start a beginning without end for you. If you are willing to walk away from your being broke, God will be willing to write you a new check. We want to close tonight's meeting. This way we want to close it like this. I'll be calling a few of you around the world to join me to do number 3. Victoria, what is number 3 topic?
Okay, the number 3 topic is those who are in a bad relationship and don't know how to get out of it.
Okay, we'll be dealing with that. We'll be dealing with that. I'll be calling a few of you tomorrow to join me in a special broadcast. We are going to do that. Geneva, you will be with me in that broadcast, because I know you're off tomorrow. I will need some of you who are in the prophetic ministry with me to be there. Nancy, I will make sure that I call you. I want you guys. We want these 3 things we are gonna be dealing with. We've done 2. When we finish the number 3, this will be a classic broadcast that will be archived, and later we will take it out. So these are very powerful stuff. Do not be afraid. From what Renee said tonight, do not be afraid of starting over. If it has come to that level, be willing to pick yourself up. Be willing to tell yourself you've tried. I have my big daughters all around the United States who've gone through things, and they believed that they are going to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. How did their children go to college? With only a single mom. The dad wasn't there. I want you to know this for a fact, that what we are dealing with is real, it's reality. It's one thing to obtain miracles. It's a different thing to live in a world of powers and forces and thrones and dominions and principalities. And my desire is to take you to the level where you are higher than those forces.
Hallelujah.
Good night, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.